In this video, we will talk about the Gupta's post-Gupta period as well as the Harsha and the transition from the ancient India to the medieval period and the struggle for the Kannauj, the tripartite, the struggle for the Kannauj. And let's start with the Guptas, the mighty Gupta Empire. But you should know that Gupta Empire was different than the Mauryan Empire. Gupta Empire, which is quite celebrated as among the Hindu scholars for their support to the Brahmanism. Guptas were actually Vaishyas, and they were support. I mean, a school of thought consider them as Vaishyas, particularly based on the evidence of their marriage alliances, right? And they were Vaishnavites with the Madhya Desha, present day Eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar as their core, as compared to the Bihar. Now the power center became the Uttar Pradesh, and Guptas issued one of the largest number of the gold coins called dinars, and their prosperity was because of the trade with the Byzantine Empire. Yes, this is the Sassanid Empire, and the Guptas has good relations with it, and there was trade linkages, and that's why it's because of this North Indian trade during the Gupta times. The Guptas were having quite a good supply of gold as well as the regular supply of the good quality horses. That's why their military might was also good. Although Gupta Empire in its nature was a decentralized one, means they didn't have a large standing army. Although the Samudragupta is considered as the Napoleon of India, but still overall, if you look at the Gupta period, then in Gupta period the militias or the militaries were supplied by the governors or the other local chieftains. This was the difference with the nature of the state in Mauryan times, which was a highly centralized bureaucratic empire. Okay. It was founded by Sri Gupta, who started Gupta era, followed by the Ghatotkacha Gupta, but the imperial Gupta started with the Maharaj Dhiraja Chandragupta I, who took the title Maharaj Dhiraja. He was succeeded by his brother Ramagupta, but the most important one was the Samudragupta. Allahabad Prashasti I already mentioned in one of the video by his court poet Hari Sen. On the Ashokan pillar, on which already there was Queen's Krovaki's inscription was there. Samudragupta is also known as Luchvi Duhitra, or the son of the Lichvi princes who were married to the Chandragupta first, that is Kumara Devi. I mentioned just now that he is known as Indian Napoleon. Yes, because of his conquest, particularly in Deccan, he is known by his Indian Napoleon. This title was given by Winston Arthur Smith. He was also Veena player. One more Indian emperor was a Veena player in later times. Can you name it? Although this is not an interactive class. Aurangzeb. Yes, Aurangzeb was a Veena player. Remember that. He was asked for, Samudragupta was asked by the Sri Lankan king Vegavarman that it was a request that can I have a monastery made in the honor of Buddha at Bodh Gaya, and this permission was granted. That means that Samudragupta also had good relations with the Sri Lanka. After Samudragupta, the next king, that is Chandragupta II, was even more popular because he took the title of the Vikramaditya. The Vikramaditya, Vikram, sun, shining like a sun. So Vikramaditya title was earlier taken by Vikramaditya, a Ujjaini ruler, who took the title of Vikramaditya after defeating Sakas. So first Gupta ruler to take the title of Vikramaditya was Chandragupta II. There was another Gupta ruler who took this title, Skandagupta, later on. Okay. Now, Delhi pillar, iron pillar, who's considered as an attestation of the Indian metallurgical prowess because of its rust-free, because it is rust-free for so many years, for so many centuries, right? In this iron pillar, which is considered as originally from Ujjain, he is known as Sakari, although Sakaraditya is not Chandragupta second. Sakaraditya is someone else, right? Sakaraditya is not, Sakaraditya is a title given by the someone else and not by the Chandragupta second, but Sakari was given, was mentioned it here. Chinese traveler Fa Hian visited during Chandragupta Vikramaditya and attested the prosperity of the regime during this time, and he wrote Fu Kyo Ki. His wife was Kuber Naga, one of his wives, and his second capital was the Ujjaini in central India. He also had the marital relations with the Vakatakas, central Indians who were Brahmins. Let me show you. His daughter Prabhavati Gupta. So this white one is the empire of the Chandragupta first. Then it was added by the Samudra Gupta. The dotted I mean this grid pattern. See, this was, but Samudra Gupta subjugated all these rulers, and Samudra Gupta subjugated these rulers. This all this area was subjugated by Samudra, and under Chandragupta II, Vakataka, this was not subjugated. Vakatakas, they had the matrimonial relations because the Prabhavati Gupta, the daughter of Chandragupta II, was married to the ruler of this Vakataka king, and after his death, they virtually ruled the Vakataka kingdom of central India, Nagpur area, Maharashtra, right, Vidarbha region. Okay. Then these states, these are always the Punjab region and Rajasthan. There were minor tribes, tribal republics were there. So these also paid the their to the Gupta ruler. So it was a decentralized ruler. In the core was this. Okay. Coming back to it, the feudal trends emerging in the Gupta rule itself. I already mentioned that the nature of the state was decentralized one, and the feudal trends means the local chieftains getting stronger and stronger, and this emerged in the later Gupta itself and then strengthened itself during the time of the post-Gupta rulers like Harshas in north and Harsha regime in north, and the Pallavas in South India, Chalukyas and Pallavas. So administrative units under the Guptas, Bhukti followed by the Vish. Bhukti was under Uparika and Vishaya was under the Vishayapati. Okay, these were the administrative unit of the Guptas. I hope you know about these administrative unit because these are the most important ones, and we are revising, right? You must have covered this in your foundation course whenever you must be doing it. So these are these are just keywords for to help you guys refresh. Gupta Age is known as Golden Age. It is termed as Golden Age, particularly by in the Brahminist literature. Although some argue that it was Golden Age only in the field of the art and culture because the position, because of the societal issue, because the position of the women as well as the untouchables really deteriorated. Although the Shudra position interestingly improved in economic sense. As I already mentioned, that they were the followers of the Vaishnava and their royal seal was Garud. In this period, Sanskrit literature reached its zenith. Yes, and the number of the law books, Samriti literature was also written. We know about the nine luminaries of the Chandragupta Vikramaditya's court. They were mentioned here, among them the Kalidas, the Shakespeare of India, and others like Shapanka, Vrahamira, astronomer, Rarochi, Vetala Bhatta, Dhanvantri, known in the field of the medical, Amar Sima, who wrote Amar Kosha, grammar, dictionary. But Aryabhatta, the famous mathematician of the time, was not one of the luminaries. Remember that. Amar Kosha See, guilds also stressed in states in North India emerged as well. Kumara Matyas, like Mahamatras of Ashoka times, Amatyas, ministers of Mauryan times, these were the ministers. The first inscriptional evidence of Sati is also from the Gupta times, from Iran in Madhya Pradesh in 512 AD. Now, this map shows the Fahiyans travel during Chandragupta Vikramaditya, who came via Silk Route the land, visited the famous North Indian cities, Taxila. He came to check about the Buddhist text in India, to learn Buddhism, and he wrote Fu Kyu Ki. Fahiyan wrote Fu, just F and F match, just remember that. Mathura, Sarnath, as well as Magadhan Empire. So then through Tamralipati, which was a famous port and ancient India and Bengal, he went to Sri Lanka, and from there to the Southeast Asia and ultimately to China. That means he didn't visit the Western India. This was the difference between his visit and the visit of Hyun Sang during Harsha period. I will show his map as well. So remember that Fahiyan go back via sea route after from Bengal to Sri Lanka and via sea route. He didn't visit any location in Western India. Now, later part of the Gupta Empire was affected by the attacks of the horse, the Huns and Gujar tribes coming from the northwest. They had better quality horses and mounted archers. The metal stirrups did help them in their attacks, and soon Gupta Empire was not able to control the area in the western part of their empire. Toraman Hun was a Jain and Mihir Kula followed Shaivism. You should remember the difference between these religious following. Okay, so one more thing, that the Huns, the Central Asian tribe, they did become Hinduized. They become part of the Indian character. They become Indianized. Same is with the Gurjars. Even today there are number of the Gurjars are there in various parts of the North India. Now came the Yashodharman's friends, Yashodharman of Kannauj, who defeated later Guptas, although he was not able to conquer the areas of the Gupta core area, but he did gave a severe blow to the Gupta glory, and he also erected a pillar of victory, and Mandsaur inscription mentions about his success. He also fought with the Kashmiri rulers, and his victory against the later Guptas make it easier for these regional rulers to establish their kingdom. Like in Bengal, Chandras established themselves. In Kannauj, the center, the mainstay of the North Indian Empire at that time, North Indian power, political situation, Mokris established their rule. While in Gujarat, Matrakhas established at Valabhi a major Jaina learning center. Vardhans established at Thaneshwar, who ultimately succeeded in establishing their hold in the entire north. I will come to it later on. This period is also witness monetary anemia, money scarcity. Yes, because I already mentioned that the early Gupta period and when Gupta age was in its heyday, it was prosperous because of the trade, North Indian trade with the Byzantine or Eastern Roman Empire. But because of the Huns and Gurjar attacks, this connection was set. Okay, so that's why the Gupta Empire declined in its economic prosperity, in its economic aspect as well. While what was happening in Deccan at that time, in the later Gupta period. So at that time, the Kadambas of Vanvasi, also known as Vaijanti, they were establishing their hold. They established their hold for some time. See, look at the Kadambas. While in Mysore region, Gangas were there, and the extreme south in Tamil land, Pandyas were there. Okay. In Guntur region of Krishna Godavari, Ishkavaku established their hold, and they established some good learning center for the Buddhism. Amravati and Nagarjunakonda was also a flourishing center during Ishkavakus. Now, Sri Harsha of Thaneshwara, the young man who is considered as the last great Hindu empire of India. His father, Prabhakar Vardhan, was the ruler of the Thaneshwar, the modern Kurukshetra in Haryana. He was from Pushyabhuti family. What happened? His sister Rajeshri was married to the Kannauj ruler Grahavarman, who was killed by one Devagupta with the support of the Bengal's ruler, Bengal, at that time known as Goda, Shashank. Now, to support to take the revenge of the murder of the Grahavarman, Harshvardhan's elder brother went there, Rajavardhan, but even he was killed by Shashank. Now, what happened? Now, there was no one to rule the Kannauj or Thaneshwar kingdom. Then, nobles raised Harsha, who was a young man, quite a young guy at that time, known as Siladitya. They raised him and to throne, and he ruled not just the Thaneshwar kingdom and the Vardhan kingdom, but also Kannauj. He soon shifted his capital to Kannauj, the symbolic power center of the North India, and then he also coronated himself as the king of Magad. Very important point regarding Harsha is that every 5 years an assembly was organized at Prayagraj quinquennial assembly, in which he used to give his wealth. This shows his nature as well. Moreover, Harsha was not just all religion, be it Jainism, Buddhism or Hinduism, all these religions flourished under Harsha's patronage. He was not just it doesn't mean that he favors one particular religion on cost of another, or he was intolerant. When Hyun Sang, the Chinese traveler, came to India, he in large assembly at his capital Kannauj was organized, and he was honored. Hyun Sang wrote Siyuki. Remember Fayan Fu? He wrote Siyuki, Hyun Sang. Not just Hyun Sang, Ich Sing also came during his reign, and after his death, he has good terms with the rulers of Assam, rulers of Kamrup, Assam known as Kamrup, Bhaskar Varman. He helped his successor to raise his followers to the throne, in which the help of the Chinese ambassador Wang Hyun-si was taken by Bhaskar Varmans. Okay, Harsha was a man of letters, man literary person as well, who wrote 3 dramas: Priyadarshika, Ratnavali and Nagananda. Okay, Pulkesin I of Chalukyas. See, this is the map of North India at Harsha's time. Mokris of Kannauj, Pushyabhutis, they combined. Varman of Kamrupa, Maitrakas of Vallabhi, Gujarat, Chalukyas of Badami, they ruled south of Narmada. Kadambas, I mentioned earlier, these are the extreme south, smaller, in which Pallavs emerged as a competitor of Chalukyas for the domination of the south. Now Harsha attacked south, but at Narmada he was defensively beaten by, in his defense, Pulakesin II, and it is mentioned in the Aihole Jain temple inscription by the of Pulakesin's poet Ravikriti. See, this is Hyun Sang's travel map. He came via land route like Fayan, but after Bengal, instead of going through the sea route, he went like that to the west, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and then again through going to Sindh. He went north and went back to the same route, the same Silk route. So this was the difference between the route of Fayan and Hunsag. Now, Chalukyas of Badami and Pallavas. I already mentioned the conflict between them for the dominance of the south. Kalabhras, just before them, the Tamil land after the Kadambas. The Kadambas were in Karnataka. The Kalabhras ruled the Tamil land, and Kalabhras didn't give any grants, etc. Didn't patronize the Brahmins, and that's why the Brahmins were angry. And finally, the combination of the Chalukyas, Pallavas, and Pandyas overthrow the Kalabhras, and their rule is known as the Dark Age of the Tamil land. Chalukyas, about Pulkesin II is Aihole inscription I mentioned earlier, and he also defeated Mahendravarman Vichitrachitat of Pallav. But later on, Pulkesin II, who defeated Mahendravarman Pallavs as well as Harsha, was killed by the Narsimhavarman, who took the title of the Mahamalla. Malla is a wrestler, great wrestler, Mahamalla. And after this defeat of Chalukyas, Narasimhavarman first took the title of the Vatapikonda. Pulkesin II established the branch of Chalukyas in Andhra, known as the Vengai branch, Eastern Chalukyas of Vengai. This triangle of Aihole, Pattadkal and Badami. Aihole was their first capital, Badami was Aihole or Badami or Vatapi was the main capital, and the Pattadkal. All of these are famous for their temples, their Aihole and Badami cave temples, and Badam Pattadkal group of monuments, a World Heritage Site. I will show all of them in the art and culture section, in architecture and sculpture section. And Vesara style of temple architecture also emerged from here. Then Western Chalukyas and Chalukyas of Gujarat. Later on, a branch of these Chalukyas established themselves in Anilwada or modern day Patan, were also known as the Solankis, who built the famous temples of the Gujarat, Jaina temples, and also the Western Chalukyas or the later Chalukyas of Kalyani in Maharashtra. After some time, Vikramaditya II Chalukyas defeated the Pallava rulers 3 times. His wife built number of beautiful temples every time he won the battle against the Pallavas. Well, let's look at the Pallavas founded by the Simha Vishnu. Pallavas of Kanchipurams, the great temple of the Kailashnath of the Kanchipurams was built by them, as also the Mahabalipuram monuments, the Mahabalipuram Raths, as well as the Shore temple which has come to us, which has remained in its, more temples were built by them, but they have been destroyed. They have got destroyed, as also been destroyed by the others. They could not stand to the vagaries of time, you can say so. Mahendravan Vichitrachita, I mentioned about his defeat by the Pulkesin II. He wrote the Matvilasa Prasna, a comedy. Pallavas were the first to grant the land grants to officer instead of the Pallavas and Gangas of Mysore, paying them in salary, in cash salary. The land grants means a particular piece of land was given to a particular officer. Earlier this was given to the Brahmins, but now given to officer. Now these lands, these villages, a group of villages, their land revenue was used as a salary for that particular officer. This resulted into the more and more feudal tendency. This resulted into more and more loose control of the state. This is the map of this time period. I mentioned about Chalukyas, Kadambas, Pallavas, Pandyas, Eastern Chalukyas of Vengais. Now the transition between the early medieval, ancient period and the early medieval period. Karnataka, Rashtrakuta followed them in Karnataka, Chalukyas, and they were followed indeed by the later on by Hoysala of Helebidar Dwarsamudra. Rashtrakuta did by Danti Durga of Manyakhed or Malkhed capital. Krishna one built Kailashnath temple at Ellora at the lines of the Kailashnath temple of Kanchipuram. Amog Varsha was a literary personality who wrote Kavi Rajmarga. Gurjar Pratyahara or Just Pratyahara, an Agnikula clan of Rajput, and they fought with the Rashtrakuta and Palas, the Kannauj, and this is the tripartite struggle. Rashtrakutas from this area, Gujarat from western India and North India, and Palas from Bengal. They fought for the power center Kannauj in the 8th and 9th century. Then Palas, two important. One is the in field of education. A number of the Palas were patrons of Buddhism, as also not just Buddhism but miniature Buddhist art paintings were developed by Palas. They flourished during Palas. Then Gopala founded Odantapur University, Vikramshila University, and Sompur University, which is in present day Bangladesh. Then there was Dharampala as well as Devpala. So these were the important Pala rulers, and followed by the Senas in Bengal, Vijay Sena, who founded Vikrampura and Vijaypura. Then the great Lakshmana Senas, during whose time Jaydev wrote Geet Govind. And in extreme south, Imperial Cholas, with Jala was the founder Rajaraja or Mamudi Chola, father of Rajendra Chola, invaded Sri Lanka, but this expedition was completed by his son Rajendra Chola, whose title was Gangai-Konda Cholapuram, because he attacked the Bengal. He attacked the Bengal via the coming from the eastern coast. The Chola assembly Sabha and Nagaram is the city. Sabha, not Sabsha. This is a typo. There is an Uttarameru inscription which mentioned about both Pallavas and Cholas local self-government. Okay, so this is the Chola Empire, and during Chola Empire, even Shailendra, Srivijaya Empire, Shailendra Empire of Srivijaya, Indonesia, this was attacked by the Cholas, and Bay of Bengal is now considered as a Chola lake. This is the neighboring Hoysala and the Pandyas during the time of the Imperial Cholas, and this is the inscriptions list which I have already mentioned. That do study this. I mentioned about the Junagadh Rock, Allahabad Pillar already, Aihole of Ravikriti. This is Gwalior inscription of the Bhoja, Hathigumpa or Kharavela I mentioned earlier, Bogajkui and Kasavai already mentioned. Nana Ghat inscription of the Satkarni also. These are the Satvahana inscriptions. Queen Mother wrote one of these inscriptions. Gautamiputra, Nasik inscription. Gautamiputra defeated the Nahapana Shaka. And then Mandasore inscription. There is another Mandasore inscription as well. Delhi Iron Pillar inscription of the Meroli Iron Pillar in Qutub complex. Bitari Gaon stone pillar inscription of Skandagupta. Uttarameru I mentioned just now. Besnagar, very important, in which Heliodorus Garudhwaj is there. Heliodorus accepting himself as a follower of Bhagavata, Vaishnava follower during the Gupta times, and erected a Garudhwaj in honor of the Vasudev Bhagavat. I will show you this Garudhwaj in the art and culture video. That's it guys. Thank you.